Hello, this is Carrie again, and I have another video for you today. Today I am super excited. Today's video is one of the most requested videos I have had. Since I did my original Prismacolor review, the price has gone down drastically. So the question is, has my opinion on them changed? So that's what today's video is going to be, is my opinion of them different. So what I did was I ordered some Prismacolor pencils. I had a set of 72 when I did the original review, and there'll be a link to that set up here that I ended up giving away to a friend of mine who, couldn't afford them, so I gave them to her. But then in order to update you to see if anything has changed since the price has gone down, I had to purchase a new set. So I purchased a new set, and this is a set. I have my, ignore what's in the back. This is my, my new comparison chart. So just to show you the comparison chart, this is the original Crayola, this is the Luminance, Polychromos, so on and so forth. So if you've seen some of my recent videos, you know that the recent videos all include my new chart. So we're gonna do this chart together, and I will give you some opinions to see if anything is different. So let's open this up. So as I said, this is the new Prismacolor set. So it's here. As you guys can see, it is unopened. And I wanted to do that because, some people questioned whether or not I was fair to them in the first video. So in this case, these will be, and a lot of people said that they didn't have any problems with theirs. You guys saw I had a lot of problems with mine. This is a set of 24. When I did my original video, the set of 24 ran around about, $24, $30. I got this set on Amazon for, I think, $11.90 something. So I'm gonna pause and get my Swiss Army knife because I forgot that it comes in shrink wrap. So I'll be right back. All right, I am back. I have a smaller Swiss Army knife that I usually use, but in this case, I got this one. So let's get this open, and I also have the colors that come in the original set of 12 listed out here. So we're gonna pick out the colors that are in the original set of 12. All right, so this is how they come, and I am going to need my sharpener. It looks like the sharpener is a bit less sharp, and that's probably to expose less wood so that it is less likely to break in shipping. But this is not going to be sharp enough for me to do my test. But I think the top one has already been set aside, and I think these are the colors that come in the original set of 12. I believe so. Let's see, orange. Yep, this is the set that comes in the set of 12. So I can just work on these right now, and then this is the additionals that they give you in addition to the set of 12. They're not mixed in all together, so you can just have your original set of 12, and then these are the extras. I'm not gonna swatch these out, but I will take them out to examine the bottom and to see if the bottom is much better. Actually, let me do that now before I sharpen up the rest of them, just to see. These will just get mixed in here, but the main thing I want to see is I want to see if they are centered, and if they're not centered, then it's almost certain that you're going to have problems with pencils if they're not centered. And I'm not being nitpicky, I'm just saying that, like, when you get a new set of these, you should definitely see if any are off center, and if they should at the factory be pretty centered. If they look off center to you, then they're probably definitively off center. And I'm taking out only the ones that I feel are pretty badly off center. I mean, somebody might make the case that this one is off center. And again, the reason it matters is that as you sharpen them, if they're off center, you are more likely to have problems. Between these two, I'm going to say only this one is off center. So of the 12, 4 of the 12 here, 4 are clearly off center. That's not good. that's not good for me if I'm trying to convince you to get these again. So of the 12, 4 are off centers, and I would consider these defective pencils that really should not have left the factory. This is just really bad. But they are less expensive. When I did my review, they were about $1 and change a pencil, and now they're about around about 50 cents a pencil. So so there is that, but it's to me it's still not acceptable. But we're gonna see with the 12 main colors. And I don't usually swap for the other ones, even some of the ones that came with the white. I just didn't do the white because it doesn't really show that well. So I will probably pick another color and swatch that one out. But I will sharpen these. I'm gonna get my sharpener and see how they sharpen. I'm gonna sharpen all the pencils and see how they sharpen, because none of these I would consider to be sharp enough for me to use right now, and I'm gonna try to not get them too sharp. So I will be right back and get out my sharpener. So that was my first ever high-speed filming, when I did any filming high-speed, and I just wanted to show you guys these 3 pencils before we get to the next step. I believe, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me, that these are off-center, and you can see when they turn that they are indeed off center, and I would qualify these as defective pencils that should not have left the factory, along with the other 2 that I saw. So we had 7 defective pencils in a set of 24. That seems like a lot to me, but they did sharpen, and so far it's okay. I wanted to also talk to you about the way that I sharpened, because I know some people will have comments down in the comments. I used the Alvin Brass sharpener, which is my favorite sharpener, and I've talked about this sharpener many times. I did a video in the past, and there'll be a link to that video up there, where I talked to you about replacing this blade. So this is a brand new blade on this sharpener. The sharpener itself is about a year old, but the blade is just a couple of weeks old. So it's a brand new super sharp blade. I use these sharpeners for pretty much all my pencils. I use these for the Crayola without a problem. I use these for pretty much everything without a problem, as long as they fit inside the barrel, which they sometimes do not. And I feel strongly that a pencil should work as a pencil, meaning that you should be able to take the pencil and stick it into any sharp, high quality German blade and get a sharp blade, and get a decent point without any problems. And you shouldn't need to do anything special to them. You can actually see this one in the way that it sharpens, that it's off center. Let me move this to have the camera focus, but you can see how the wood should be even around, and you can see how the wood is different, and that's a factor of it being off center. And you should be able to do that with any pencil, and you should not need to do anything special. You shouldn't need to get a special electric sharpener. You shouldn't need to do any of this or any of that in order to get a good point. I call it my Crayola rule. If it works with my Crayola pencils, it should work with any other pencils. And these definitely work with my Crayola pencils that cost, I think I paid like $3 for a set of 12. So if they work for my Crayola pencils, then they should really work with pretty much anything. So, so that's what I did. And you guys may also notice that I held on to the sharpener and turned the pencil. Now, what you can do with the sharpener, and what I didn't do, let me move this out the way. What I didn't do is you can actually hold on to the pencil and turn the sharpener. I find that this is really difficult for me to do. And I find that I don't really have the coordination to do that, even though it works really well with this sharpener. That is what you're supposed to do with the Prismacolor pencils. But again, I call it my Crayola rule. I don't do it for my Crayolas, and I'm not gonna start doing it for the Prismacolors. And that might make me a bad man. I don't know. You guys will decide. I am a woman, by the way, but I just say a bad man because it sounds better. Anyway, that might make me a bad person, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna fill out this chart and do it completely. I will do this off camera because it is a little bit time consuming, and yeah, and so but I will do this off camera, and then once I'm done with the chart, I will come back to you and talk to you about my experience using it, and if it differs from what I did before, and how I used them before. So I will be right back. Hello, I am back. I have finished swatching out all 24 colors. I drew this apple. Like I said, my art is not very good. I mostly do coloring. And I have swatched these out. These are the 12 colors that come in the 12 color set. I purchased the 24 color set, but if you buy the 12 color set, you'll get all of these. Plus, instead of the light cerulean blue, you will get a white. I didn't swatch out the white because it isn't going to work. This is Aqua B hot pressed paper, but it's a very smooth it's Aqua B cold pressed paper, but it's a smooth cold pressed paper. And I think it's fine for what I needed to do. It has enough tooth that it will grab the pencils really nicely. And you can see that the colors are really vibrant, especially if you compare them to, this is the original Crayola colors. You can see, especially these down here have already started to fade pretty hard, even though they have not been exposed to the light. You can see that the colors are much more vibrant than the Crayola colors. This is a luminance, so these are some of the most expensive pencils on the market, and you can see that the colors are really vibrant, and they really do compare quite nicely in terms of just sheer vibrancy to the luminance. The luminance, however, are extremely light fast, and these are not rated to be light fast. As far as I know, there may be a few colors that are light fast, but they definitely don't have the same light fast rating as the luminance, and light fastness will always cost you more. But you can see that the colors, I mean, the luminance colors definitely are, you know, they definitely compare really nicely to the luminance colors. Here, let me get out the Polychromos. I may redo this Polychromos swatch card just because the colors are, I was still working on how to do the swatch cards, and they seem kind of cramped in there, so I may redo. That's not relevant at all. But you can see once again that the colors do have a really nice vibrancy, even though it's not exactly, the colors aren't exactly the same. You can see the really nice vibrancy. The other thing you can see here is that the black is actually a really nice black. It's very dark black that you get with this, with the Prismacolor. The one on top is the Prismacolor. They definitely are much more pigmented. The Prismacolors are than this is the Lyra Polycolor. And the Prismacolor are definitely more pigmented than these, especially you see it in this, the light cerulean blue versus the light blue, or even the orange to orange. You can see that the Prismacolor orange is much more pigmented, as is the black. The Lyra color black is not particularly good. And the last one is the Tombow Irojiten. You can see that these are four luminescent colors, but if you compare just the regular colors, just the red to the red, you can see that the Prismacolors are definitely more vibrant. So the Prismacolors I really always like them for their vibrancy, and they are really soft pencils, which means that you will be sharpening them considerably more than any of the other ones, except maybe the Lyra Polycolors are the only ones that I ended up sharpening as much as I would have had to with these, and I decided against sharpening them. But I want you to see, let me get out the red, which is the color that I use the most. Let me get out these four colors and show you just how much you will end up having to sharpen. You see how the red is worn down nearly to the nub, as is the yellow, though not as bad compared to how it was when we started. And I don't think that I use the red quite so much that it should be needing to sharpen. I could have done the same with the Polychromos, which are a little bit harder lead, so they won't need to be sharpened as much. So these will need to be sharpened more often, which again would not be a problem if we did not have the issue with the cores being off-centered. And as you saw in my original Prismacolor review, most of the other pencils that I talked to you, except for the Crayolas, I think are probably the only ones, are bonded to, the pencil is actually bonded to the wood casing. And the Prismacolors, the pencil is not bonded to the wood casing at all. So that will lead you to have problems with it. And that's kind of, that's how we run into the problems with the pencil slipping out of the cores. But as long as they work, it's great. So, you know, if you don't need to sharpen them, they work great. But they're soft and you need to sharpen them often. Problems with sharpening are common. They're part of, you can Google, you know, how to sharpen Prismacolor videos, and there'll be a lot of people with a lot of different techniques. In my original video, I recommended that you went out and you purchase the special Prismacolor sharpener. I still think that that's a good bet, but since then I have really fallen in love with this this Alvin sharpener, mainly because you can replace the blade easily and cheaply. The extra blade costs $1. But the problem with these pencils was never the vibrancy. The vibrancy was always spectacular. The problem was always with the breakage and the cores being off center. So having said all that, in an updated review, do I recommend them now that the price has gone down to pretty much less than half of what it was? When I did the original review, I paid $70 for my set of 72. I checked on Amazon and I saw the set of 72 for like $30, I think it was. So the price has gone down. It's about half the cost. Now at half the cost, do I still recommend them? I think my original conclusion remains. For the smaller sets, I think that these are a good value, especially if you understand what you're getting into and you understand that, you know, pencils may be off center. You may have breakages. You may have problems sharpening them. If you accept all of that and you understand all of that, and you buy it with the understanding that that's distinctly a possibility. By the way, Prismacolor has been running commercials. And that was another thing that I wanted to talk about. They're running commercials. So they're spending good money on commercials, but not on quality control. And that is just like, ugh. It's just like, ugh. However, you're getting 24 high quality pencils with, as you saw, compared to the some of the other ones, the vibrancy is very good for $11. That's a good deal. You know, $11, even $30 is still a good deal. However, since then, the price for some of the other brands has gone down. The Polychromos has gone down. The set of 60, when I did my review, was $100. Amazon now has it for $77 for the set of 60. So that, as I said before, I would not pay more for a set of Prismacolors than you could get the set of Polychromos 60. When I did the first review, that was $100. Now currently that's $77. So that would be my maximum, as I would look at what you could get the set of 60 Polychromos, and I would not spend more for the Prismacolor Premier than you could get a set of the 60 Polychromos, which now is $77. And for $77, I think you could pretty much get like the set of 123 Prismacolors if you were so inclined, and if you were so willing to risk it and willing to accept the possible future frustration and the lots of sharpening, which some people say the best way to avoid breakages is to sharpen with a knife, with a Swiss Army knife, which I know how to do. It's easy to do. I used to do it when I was little. I don't know if you guys know. I was born in Honduras and we were fairly poor. I mean, I haven't done it in a long time, but it's not that hard to do. This is not that sharp, but it's not that hard to do. You just hold on to the pencil, and you just go, and then you get to the blade. There's a bunch of videos on how to do this, but I don't really see why. I never had problems doing this. Like I said, when we were really little, we were really poor. This is how we sharpened our pencils. So I can do it like this. I just don't want to, for the reasons that I don't want to. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I should give you a better reason than I don't want to, but that's literally the only reason that I wouldn't do it this way. And then you know, you just have to be very careful in terms of the point, and you can get a fairly sharp point this way, doing it with a knife. So if you're willing to either sharpen your pencil with a knife or sharpen your pencil with the knife, or accept the possible frustration, then yes, I would recommend these. I would definitely, as I said in the original review, $20 for, you know, whatever. If you were intent on getting these pencils, despite all of my warnings, the $20 for, I think this set of 48 is something like $24 right now, and that is a good deal. It's been a while since I sharpened. This is the first time I've sharpened a pencil like this, I think, since I was a little girl and we couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford supplies. And it shows that it's been a while since I've done this, because this is not particularly good. But there are videos on how to do this. If you guys want me to practice and do a video on how to do this, there's a guy who does this for, you know, who does this. But anyway, so if you wanted to do that, $20, yes, for $20, yes, go ahead. Yes, I recommend these for $20. It hurts my soul to say that, but for $20 or less, yes, this is fine. It hurts me because I know that there's a possibility that you guys are going to be frustrated, and there's a possibility that you're going to have a lot of breakages, or it's also possible that you could have, you know, 24, 48 perfect pencils and never have any problems. Okay, I'm rambling. I'm rambling, but at the end of the day, my conclusion has not changed. Same as before. Don't spend more on Prismacolors than you would for a set of 60 Polychromos. And otherwise, you've been warned. So you're an adult. You can make your own choices. All right, have a great day. Bye. Thank you guys so much for watching my updated review and for staying with me. I know it was kind of long. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel. There will be a subscribe link. I think it's down there. And don't forget to check out the Patreon if you guys are interested in helping to support the channel with your monthly donations through patreon.com. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.